Hello adventurers and welcome to another Black Desert mobile video. For this one, I really just wanted to talk about shrine bosses for the Land of the Morning Light. So what I wanted to do was go through each one of these bosses and show you how to complete Calamity 1 through 6. So for this video, what I wanted to talk about was going to be this first boss right here. So Beombawi Valley. I'm going to go from top to bottom, start with this one, and then for each one of my videos on this, I'll just do one individual boss. But before I actually get started, I did want to kind of share some tips and just kind of give you an idea of like the setup for what I'm going to be doing. For Calamity 1, I will not be using any of the energy points just because maybe it's your very first boss, so I don't want to like have that extra leg up on you. So I'll do it with no energy points, but for Calamity 2, I'm going to be using 9 energy points, and that's just because I figure if you can complete Calamity 1 for one boss, you can complete it for all of them. And I really do highly recommend that. Just complete Calamity 1 for each one of the bosses. So that way you can pretty much get the free, I'm throwing air quotations out there, free energy points to use on this, just so it makes it a little bit easier. So that's kind of my first tip. Just complete Calamity 1 for each one of them and it'll make your life easier. So with that being said, for Calamity 2, I will be using 9 energy points, and then for Calamity 3, I'll be using all 11 energy points. For each one of these calamities, I'll show you like what my setup is for how I'm using my point distribution, like for specific calamities. But then also I'll kind of show you just a general setup, what normally works for me in all circumstances. But obviously, like once you get higher, you really do have to tweak your setup, and it's based on your play style. So obviously what I use might not work for you, but I'm just showing you what works for me. But then also I did want to share some other quick tips. So before we get started, I wanted to make some quick notes of a couple important things. I have an image. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So this is what I wanted to show really quickly was like this is a snippet of whenever the Black Shrines had first opened. So only 10% of your character's CP is applied in Black Shrine. So I'm 60k CP, so only 6k of my CP counts in Black Shrine. This is like a really good way to balance our character's power. So even if you're like a newer player, you can still do this with, I won't say relative ease. So you can do this pretty much like on the same playing field as I have. I do have like a tiny bit of a leg up over you, but yeah, for the most part, we all pretty much have the same CP. And then also only 10% of the actual AP, including AP stats. It's basically saying any buffs applied for stuff against monsters, it's only 10% of that. That's actually pretty interesting. I didn't think about this part, so I'll kind of show you something for that here in a little bit. But then also your second wind does not work in here, so your savior totem does not work, and that's just saying like whenever you die you revive, so kind of keep that in mind. And then lastly, in Black Shrine, effects such as extra damage to bosses and additional HP recovery with HP potions are not applied. So that's going to be pretty important. I know a lot of people use boss pets whenever they do these calamities. Supposedly it doesn't work. For me though, I always use boss pets even though I know they don't work, and that's just because maybe somewhere in the code it's not right. But regardless, you shouldn't be using boss pets. What I really recommend is just use AP and DP pets, so CP pets, and that should pretty much help you. It's not helping a whole lot because it's only getting 10% of that, but I guess something's better than nothing. But also with the HP recovery stuff, I did want to kind of mention the glyphs. So this is also really important. Your glyph setup is going to help you while you're in there. So when I'm talking about glyphs, I'm talking about the things that are added to your weapons or your armor or your gear. What I really think helps a lot in here is going to be not these HP recovery from potions. These don't work just because the HP potions that we use in here, it recovers a flat percentage of our HP. So just kind of keep that in mind. These specific glyphs do not work. However, I think that the burn still applies, so make sure that you have a burn that that you can use. That's normally pretty helpful. Obviously, using on hit, recover MP, like depending on your class, that can be pretty helpful. The one that I'm actually looking for though is on hit heal. This is really, really helpful, but then also what's really helpful is evade heal. So I think on hit heal for me, I have like 500 and something, maybe it's like 400 something, but then for evade heal, I have 550. So every time that I dodge, every 3 seconds, I'm getting another 550 HP, which is pretty significant. I just wanted to bring this up because it does help you while you're in there. This helps you sustain, but certain parts of the glyphs don't actually work. Something else that I would say though is there's a specific glyph that says like whenever you get hit, you have a % chance of recovering like your evasion cooldown. If you can have one of those, it might help. You really have to get hit a lot though for it to actually work. So what I would say is those extra evasions, they definitely do help. So make sure that maybe you can have one of those, have as many of these evade heals as you can, have like a glyph that has max HP. It has to be on the armor, but I'm gonna end up making like a video specifically for glyphs, but I just wanted to make you aware of that the evade heals, they do work, and the on hit heals, they do work. But also with your fairy skills, if you go to fairy, you'll want to have certain skills equipped, and the main one that I'm thinking of right now is going to be this right here. So the extra evasion charge. This really, really helps because normally you only have 4 evasions. The 5th one, it's going to get you through like some really sticky situations. Like I've had instances where that one extra dash, it was make or break for my Calamity 6 run. So that's always really nice to have. But also, I think this skill right here also works AP against all monsters. However, like that note just said, only 10% of it works. So it's only plus 50 AP against monsters, but 50 is better than nothing. So there was, I believe, one last thing I wanted to talk about before I actually get into this, and this is going to be for the skills. For your skills, depending on what class you're playing, you can actually lock the skills where whenever you're on auto combat, you can turn off this skill. So I have my 2 evasion skills or my 2 movement skills turned off, so that way whenever I want to use them, I can use them. So I perfectly time my evasions and I perfectly time my my movement skills, just because this will help me dodge out of certain skills that the boss is going to be throwing at me. So these are really, really helpful, and if you didn't know, you can just select the skill and then click turn on or turn off. But yeah, for the most part, whenever I'm killing these bosses, I just have auto attack on. I'm not like selecting my skills on my own. I'm just I'm letting it run by itself, and then whenever I need to dodge, I'll dodge using either of those options. But with that being said, I think that's pretty much everything that I kind of had to show before we actually get started. So what I'm going to do is I'll start with Calamity 1. Again, we're going to do no energy. So what I'm going to do is go to the practice tool, and you can practice all of these bosses all that you want. And I think you can just kind of skip through all of them. I don't think you have to do 1 through 6, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to do 1 through 6 just to kind of show you like the differences in each one of these bosses. So again, I'm going to have 0 energy used, so no AP, no DP, no anything. For the first Calamity, it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. So I'm not gonna go in depth on all of its skills, but what I will kind of say is like I'll give you some tips for how to dodge its telegraphed abilities, but then also like there's certain phases during these calamities, and I'll make you aware of those phases and then show you what to do during those phases. And I just realized there was no audio, so I like to have the audio. What I normally do is I will target select the boss, and he has certain skills where he'll either dash towards you to attack you, or he will jump away from you. For the first Calamity, I more or less I like to stay like right on top of him, and then whenever he's coming in to attack me, I'll dodge. So he has like these, again, telegraphed abilities. If he dashes into you, more than likely he will end up throwing an attack that's gonna like just hit you pretty quickly. If he jumps back, what he'll do is do like a pretty telegraphed ability, but this is going to be for the first phase. All you have to do is stand near him and then have one of those exploding Changui explode right on top of him, and that'll unlock that one thing. I don't want to kill it too quick. I want to show you some of his other abilities really quickly. So let's see if he'll throw them out. So this circle right here, basically, like, all you have to do is get behind him, get out of the range, and that's it. Again, obviously, it was pretty simple for me. It might not be super simple for you, but for Calamity 1, that's really all you have to worry about is going to be that one phase at 10 bars of health. He's going to go into that stance. Just stand near him, make sure that the little Changui thing explodes next to him, and you'll move on to the next part. So that is Calamity 1. So what I'm going to do from now on is let's go ahead and let's start showing you the energy points, because I think this is actually super helpful. It definitely helps me, that's for sure. So for Calamity 2, like I said, I'll be using 9 energy points. I can do a lot less, but the main things that I like to have is I always like to have at least 1 point in this revive. So I'll put 1 in there. And then normally what I'll do is I'll put 1 or 2 points in the HP recovery. So I'm going to put 2 there. And then for the rest, I only use AP and DP. I don't increase my max HP. I don't do evasion cooldown. It's really up to you and your playstyle. But for me, my main thing is timing my dodges and then just DPSing the whole time. So for me, I'm just going to go with attack. Normally what I'll do though is just look at the suggested DP and make sure that you're at or above the suggested DP. Because I'm above it, I'm not even going to worry about it. Like, I'm not going to put any DP. But for the next one, I will have to put 2 points into it, or 1 point or so. So actually, I'm just going to leave it at, I'm using 6 points. So let's go ahead and jump in here and I'll show you Calamity 2. All right, so same thing. I just turn on auto attack and then I target him. Whenever he's doing that, like, attack where he's smashing the ground, there's a small circle around him where you're safe. So what I like to do is either dodge right whenever that circle goes off, or I dash into him to make sure he can't hit me with it. So all of his attacks, I'm actually trying to not kill him yet. All of his attacks, they have like a timing to it where you can kind of watch the circle, and right when it gets to the edge, that's when it's going to go off. So that's when you should time to either roll or dodge out of the way or dash towards him, or what you can do is use a skill to get on the other side of it to make him miss, basically. This is the exact same thing as Calamity 1. Just stand on top of him and kill one of these exploding Changui. And yeah, you can move on. From what I can tell, there's no difference from Calamity 1 and 2. It's basically he's just a little bit stronger. But then also, whenever you successfully knock him out of that time when he's charging up, he'll actually be stunned for a little bit. So that's like the best time to be DPSing him. So don't like dodge, don't do anything, just purely attack him. That's the best time. And then yeah, that's Calamity 2. So nothing too crazy yet, at least. I think once we get to Calamity 4, it'll start getting a little bit more difficult. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, once again, let's add some energy. At this point, you should have full energy points. So I'm going to go back to practice. We'll go to Calamity 3. And really, you should be using all of your points. So again, these 3 at the bottom, or these 2 at the bottom, I pretty much always leave it like this for every boss that I kill. The only thing that I'll change is my distribution of AP and DP points. Normally, I really don't need DP just because I'll dodge pretty much everything, but in this case, because we're under the suggested DP, I'm just going to use 1 point, and then the rest is going to go into AP. I'm actually only going to use 8 of my points, and we'll see how this goes. So again, the exact same start, target him. He dashed towards me, so I will dodge whatever he's throwing out. When he backs up, or if he blinks away, just kind of keep track of him. Make sure that you're seeing what skills he's throwing out. Also, just so you know, I'm not very good at playing on PC, so on Calamity 3, he actually does this charge up thing earlier, and you have to do this 2 times. So 2 of the exploding Changui have to be on top of him whenever this happens. So just make sure that whenever they're charging up like that, you pull them on top of him, and then like just get out of the way whenever they're actually exploding. Once he's out of there, go ahead and DPS him down. And then we'll see if he throws out any different abilities. So for that, he has one skill where he has like a small circle. What you'll have to do is avoid the small circle, but then after that he's gonna do a pretty big explosion afterwards. Just make sure that you dodge the big explosion. I think that's the harder one to dodge. So at 10 bars of health, he'll actually do the exact same thing. So he's gonna do this 2 times. So make sure that you have that locked down. You know that whenever those exploding Changui pop out, you just stand on top of him and avoid the explosions if you can. And then I'll go ahead and I'll finish this off. And same thing, if you see him throwing out a skill, just make sure that you dodge it if it's telegraphed. Alright, and that is Calamity 3, so let's move on to the next one. I like how I'm making this seem super easy, but in my head I know that I'm already kind of dreading Calamity 5 and 6. I can probably do 5 pretty easily, but for 6 it'll probably be pretty hard for me to record that. Again, I just play on my iPhone whenever I do content like this, so it might not translate as well while I'm recording on PC, but we'll see how it goes. And at the very least, I'm going to show you each one of his stages. And if I need to, I'll hop on my phone and I'll record on there. But yeah, let's go ahead and do Calamity 4. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put another point into DP, and then I'm just going to leave the AP the way it is. I should be fine with just using 9 points for now. So let's do this one, Calamity 4. As always, auto attack on and target him. If he dashes into you in any way, either dodge or roll out of the way. I like to just use my skills to go through him, so that way, because he does a lot of front-facing attacks. So if I see him coming towards me, I'll just go through him. So with this, you'll have to dodge twice. He has a small circle, and then he has the bigger circle. With this, you just get behind him. So now, it's the same thing. Exploding Changui, just make sure that they explode on top of him. I think you can actually kill them early, and that counts. Or you can just let them explode. Regardless, I normally can't kill them in time, so yeah, I'll just let them explode on top of him. And then something that I haven't been talking about, but you should probably try using, is going to be your Black Spirit skills. Sometimes when there's things that I can't dodge or I know that I'll die, I like to use the escape, just to make sure that I dodge like an insta-kill attack. I don't think for this boss there's any that I need to use, but yeah. And right now I'm doing a pretty poor job of dodging things, but that should be okay. For 10 bars, what you're gonna need to do is kill these 3 Galguk. I don't know how to say that, but there's gonna be 3 of them, and they're always spawned in the exact same spot. But while they're here, they're going to be throwing out skills that could pretty much kill you in like one hit. So make sure that you're killing them as quickly as possible while also avoiding all of their skills that they're throwing out. If you kill them in time, he'll be stunned again, so this is a good time for you to be doing some DPS. And then yeah, I think from here on he should be pretty much normal. Let's see if he has another stage though. And then I ran out of HP potions, so watch out for that attack where he just jumped in the air and then like did a smash or something. He looked like an Avenger. That does some pretty big damage. Let's see, where did he go? Oh, there he is. I guess he was waiting for me to walk into a certain spot. That can lose you some time. Just make sure that whenever he's like disappeared, you can't see him, run around the map, and then he'll jump back down. It looks like that's pretty much it. And then same thing for that, whenever he's doing like a meteor crash looking thing, just dodge. And then here, you'll want to dodge both of those, but I ran out of evasions, so... And I'll just finish him from here. Alright, that's Calamity 4, let's do 5. Alright, so this is where he's gonna start to get pretty tricky. So I'm gonna leave, actually I'll go ahead and I'll increase my DP. Let's see what he needs for this one. I'll just do the rest DP. My attack might be an issue for Calamity 7, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. So let's go ahead and do 5. I'm gonna get my notes out of my way because I think I actually need to kind of try for this one. Because again, I'm not very good on PC, so we'll just have to perfectly dodge some things and yeah, make sure that we get all the mechanics right. So something that I completely forgot was I need more food. So for any of these runs, what you're going to be wanting to have are these medicinal herb teas. You can buy this from pretty much any shop person in the Land of the Morning Light. So what I would do is just buy like a couple hundred of them, a few hundred of them, and you should be good for a little bit. But then on top of that, make sure that you have meals. So from the same shop, you can buy meals, but they're really not that good. It only heals like 3,000. Which actually that's not too bad. But what I recommend is using cooking. You can actually make better meals. So like the spicy pasta, I really recommend just making these because this recovers 8,000 HP, and that's a lot better than 3,000. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. Make sure that you're using the best meals possible, and this will really help you out. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's do Calamity 5. So let's go back in here. And then again, the setup is just going to be, I'm doing 4 DP, 4 AP, and just 2 HP recovery, 1 revive. And that's all of the energy that I have. So let's do 5. I think the way I actually did it though is I did more AP when I was doing this. I just had to dodge a little bit more. But your main thing is like, for Calamity 5 and 6, it's just a culmination of everything that you've learned from the other Calamities. It's like the exact same attack pattern, except there is like a few different mechanics now, and there are a couple of different attacks themselves. So whenever he does that, like he can hit you twice, so make sure that you watch out for that. Make sure that for this, you dodge into him. And for any of those other close ranged attacks, you just get out of his way. For that jumping attack, obviously, again, same thing. Make sure that you don't get hit by it. And then same thing right there. He has 2 attacks there. So this is going to be the same thing. Just bring the exploding Changui to him. And then I just spot roll it to make it easier. Or go invincible. And then that last one exploding that's enough. And then normally what I do is right when I know he's about to be broken, I'll charge my my Black Spirit Absorb skill, so that way I can do a little bit more DPS while also healing at the same time. Let's see if I can first try him. Dodge that. Getting him to 10 bars is what I really need. And normally what I'll look at is like the time and then his health bars to see if I'm on pace or not. I think right now I'm making good time, so we shouldn't be in trouble yet. When he disappears like that, just kind of pay attention, because he can do some pretty big damage right there. This is gonna be the part now, instead of having 2 phases where you're having to unlock him, you're gonna have to kill these things. So again, just make sure that you dodge their abilities and then kill all 3 as quickly as you can. And then what you'll do is just DPS him. And then as soon as he's out of it, you know, just dodge his abilities. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the Absorb skill. So he does that, and then you can roll again. I'm going to face tank some hits just so I can keep the DPS up. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have been face tanking hits. Oh, I didn't dodge that either. Well, we went from a good run to a mediocre run. Dodge into him for that. So now this is gonna be a new phase. So what I like to do is wherever he's at, I get pretty far away from him, and I pull this thing. The thing that you're trying to kill is this tiger Changui. The reason I like to get far away from him is because the only thing that he'll be doing is throwing out a laser beam, and you don't have to worry about any other attacks from him. So I'm waiting for him to charge up his laser and hit me with it, but he's not doing it. So there it is. So whenever you're at max distance, that's all he's gonna do. So just kind of look for the beam and then get out of the way. But because he's over in that corner, I guess I'm too far for him to reach me. So yeah. And then for the rest of the time, we'll DPS him down. I think I kind of wasted too much time, but we might be okay. Let's see. And then he kind of goes on a rampage after this, so just make sure that you're dodging pretty much everything. And we're cutting this really close time-wise, so Calamity 6 might be tough for me on this, but I wasted a lot of time. But that is Calamity 5. So for Calamity 6, from what I can remember, it's pretty much the exact same thing. And then also, as you can see here, I've completed Calamity 6 for him. The only thing though, just this is based on like the last fight that I just had, I didn't really have enough AP. So what I'm gonna do is the same setup right here, 1 revive, even though I still have yet to use it, 2 HP recoveries on hit, and then I'm gonna actually do more AP this time and less DP. So I really need to be good at dodging his abilities. You don't want to get hit by anything. And if really necessary, you can like remove 1 from here, and then I could probably remove 1 revive and then add more AP. But we'll see how far I can get into Calamity 6. As long as I get to the last phase so I can show you, I'm happy. I don't actually need to complete it for me to feel satisfied, I guess, for this guide. Because at that point, it's really up to you, just optimizing your play and then making sure that you're killing him. You're gonna be pretty close in time. Like you're gonna kill him, if you do kill him, within like the last like few seconds of him. So you're basically just gonna want to play perfectly. But for me, what I want to do is just get to that last stage so you can see everything that he does, and I'm not really stressed about if I beat him in time or not. All right, so this is actually attempt number 3. The first 2 attempts were just kind of, I lost a lot of time, so I figured I might as well just skip it. The main difference with Calamity 6 is you don't see any of his hitboxes. So what you'll need to do is, based on like his attack patterns from before, just you'll pretty much have to react based on that. So whenever he does that little circle, he'll do the second circle. Keep that in mind. Whenever he like dashes into you, kind of dash through him, make sure that you dodge all of those. So yeah, it's pretty much the exact same attacks, the exact same hitboxes. It's just that now you don't see those hitboxes. So for me, I kind of already know more or less what he does. So like for that, stand behind him. That's again, stand behind him. I like to go through him for those attacks. There are certain things where like he can waste your time, like if he jumps up and like you don't see him anymore, that can be a pretty big time waste if he doesn't show up right away. Then for this, we're gonna do the same thing, except for the third Changui, we're gonna get out of the way, and then we're gonna absorb the Black Spirit, so that way we can do a little bit more damage. And then we'll stay targeted on him. And for that, we'll have to dodge. This is actually telegraphing because this is the first time we've seen that. But basically all it is, it's like 3 wave attacks. If you stand out of the way, you won't get hit. So just stand out of the way. And then I'm taking a lot of damage, so I will have to focus. So what we're really trying to rush to is get to 11 bars, or to 10 bars, so that way we can get to the next phase. And it's again going to be the same thing where we have to kill these things, so kill them as quickly as possible while also dodging their attacks. And what I like to do is just target onto them. And same thing, we'll kill this one. But that's also a really good time to recover your HP. You still want to go as quickly as possible though, just because time is a huge factor in this. And as you can see, I'm actually way behind time. So I already know I pretty much have no chance of killing him, but let's at least get to the last stage. I messed that up. Dodge that. So I think the last stage is just at 5 bars, so let's get him there. I'm dead. Watch out for that beam, it's actually super strong. We'll attack through him. We're at 5 bars. This is kind of where your pacing really matters, because once you're at the last stage, like you don't even get to DPS him. You still have to attack that monster from Calamity 5. So same thing here. He stands in the middle, and then what you're gonna want to do is target the Tiger Changui, and then I pull it all the way as far as possible so that way he can only throw that laser beam at me. When he throws the laser beam, just dodge it. It's like one of the most telegraphed abilities, so DPS and then dodge again for the laser beam. But if you're closer, he can actually throw a lot more attacks. So this makes it where he can only throw the one attack, and you only have to dodge that like every now and then you can just DPS the Tiger Changui. However, I ran out of time. So that's pretty much it though. Is you just have to optimize for Calamity 6. You have to dodge everything. Like, I was doing fine with HP, and I don't think that I actually used the revive. So what you could do is, or I guess what I could do is lower my DP a little bit more. Let's go to practice so you can actually see what I was using. I might lower my DP by 1 more, increase my AP by 1 more, and then I might also just take off my revive, because it really doesn't do too much to help you. But yeah, that's more or less it. Sorry I couldn't show you Calamity 6 completed, but hopefully that gives you a pretty good idea of what you should be doing, what to expect, how to be dodging these abilities. And then if you do have any questions, comments, concerns, if you want to make fun of how bad I was, go ahead, leave any of those in the comment section below. But yeah, again, if you do have any questions, just let me know and I'll do my best to reply to you. But again, I really do hope this helps, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.